Hello and welcome to week 7 of the Focus Propel series. Today we are going to be watching Serenity versus Omega Gaming Alpha. We've already seen the pro draft go through and we've seen how the team compositions have kind of played out, and very soon we'll be having the lock-ins of the champions so you can see them all as well. But Rudude, initially, what are your kind of reads on what it looks like these teams are prioritizing?
Yeah, so I think first of all, what we'll do, I think we better talk about the context of this game first off because talking
Absolutely.
about talking about the team fight or the comps when the guys at home can't see the comps, it's a bit disingenuous to them. So we've got Serenity and we've got Omega Gaming Alpha, right? Currently both
Mhm.
5-1, if I'm not mistaken, in the Focus Propel series. So also tied with two other teams with a 5-1 series score. So this series here is super important, not just for if they topple over one team, but essentially over two teams, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, because somebody's got to lose in the other game.
Exactly. But yeah, we've got a really important matchup coming out for you guys. Like I say, this is do not do or die necessarily, but this is going to determine whether or not Alpha can end first or they can end fourth in the table here. So this is a really important series. Guys at home, you should root for the boys. This is a big kind of big best of three ahead of them.
Yeah, especially coming off of last week where they entered their series being convincingly at the top of the standings, now being in contention with three other teams for that top spot is a position that we haven't seen them in yet this series.
Yeah, previously to last week they were undefeated in terms of series. Obviously, I dropped a game, but yeah, with a 2-1 loss last week, they have to bounce back, come ahead, and now I think it was actually 2-0 defeat last week, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, it was.
I'm mistaken, but yeah, a 2-0 defeat last week. Going to look to bounce back, and now we've got the team comps in. I'll talk to you about what I'm thinking when we look at these comps, and immediately I look at the alpha side and I see a team fight composition. Obviously, you have Shen, who can go into a side lane, use the Stand United to create some pressure, and then Stand United in. But realistically, you draft Zaya, you draft Cassiopeia, and you draft Graves. You're going to want to just go forward, use your team fighting ability to try and take team fights. And then I look on the side of Serenity, and I think, wait, they want to do the exact same thing. Unfortunately for Alpha, I feel like Serenity might do it a little bit better. The thing that Serenity lack is just a little bit of damage for me because Xayah and Cassio are both two really strong late game hyper carries, but then I look at TF and Ash, don't get me wrong, scales incredibly well into the late game. Really happy with Ash as a pick, super high priority and all that sort of stuff. But the TF provides something a little bit different. Doesn't provide the hyper carry status that Cassiopeia does. Provides more CC and utility to the team. So if it gets to a point where Ash dies and the Twisted Fate is not a really strong late game items, I feel like the overall composition from Serenity is going to be lacking a little bit. It's going to be a lot on this Ash's hands here. We're looking for Autofill ADC, great name by the way, to really step up and carry his team here.
Absolutely. Looking for him to not look like he was in fact autofilled this game. And I think that we really saw this composition be forced by Alpha, or rather, they opted into this by saving the last pick for their mid laner and drafting a relatively well-rounded composition around it. The other thing that I want to point out going into this is that the Cassiopeia is going to be enabled not just via the fact that she scales super well, but that the rest of her team is also AD, and so building any sort of MR is going to feel super, super bad for the enemy team. And then that Cassiopeia is going to be enabled to hit like a truck. So I think that Omega Gaming really looking at Princeton as their potential carry through this first game.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And we know Rapid Fire is a strong AD carry. Alpha love to play through this player. Rapid Fire himself, Zaya, definitely cuts through tanks as well as the Cassiopeia. Cassio likely going to be just building Leandri's second item, maybe a Void Staff, maybe a Rylai's as well, just for that dual synergy between Rylai's and Leandri's. But, Cassiopeia has a really nice time itemizing against the tanks because it's really easy for her to decide what she wants. She just goes, oh, well, I get my tier, that's core on Cassio for pretty much everybody. And then you go, well, I guess Leandri's is next because I've got three tanks and they're all building HP. So, yeah,
Mm.
Cassio's going to have a nice time here.
Yeah, absolutely. But also the thing we've got to keep in mind about the three tanks and exactly what we were talking about earlier is the amount of CC on this team is also going to make it really hard for all of the carries or all of the squishy members of Omega Gaming to position themselves appropriately, especially when fighting around those objectives.
Yeah, they really do. It's posturing, and I think we talked about this last week, didn't we? That setting up for the objective is just as important as how you take the fight. And if you have the
Mhm.
vision, you have the priority around that objective, that you can take fights a lot easier than if you don't have that vision. And this, especially with a Zac on the team, is going to be crucial for Alpha to try and keep themselves alive, keep the team fights going their way, and secure those neutral objectives, which we've seen be so crucial in determining fights and games.
Yeah, and even as the entire team of Serenity can sort of jump forward and initiate all on their own, I think that as they start to feel more autonomous in these fights, my eyes are going to be more and more on Oxy as well as Princeton to be able to turn those fights around with crucial CC onto the backline to prevent damage from going into the squishy members, so that Omega Gaming have a chance to get their feet back under them after being engaged on and just turn around with a massive amount of damage.
Yeah. The re-engage from Rakan is something that is incredibly strong and often incredibly underestimated. But as we load into this game number one, after the spectator delay has caught up, we are going to throw it to a short intermission right now. Don't you guys worry, don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly. Um, but yeah, game number one, Omega Gaming Alpha versus Serenity. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
Hello and welcome back to week 7 of the Focus Propel series. Like we said earlier, this is Serenity versus Omega Gaming Alpha in their last series before playoffs. We have Serenity on blue side as they 5-man invade through the top, and we can see all of Omega Gaming Alpha on your screens right now as they are grouped up and invading on the bot side of the map. What are these invades about, Rudy?
You know what? I don't really have a good answer for you there, to be honest. They're just rolling around the jungle. They're trying to get vision on the enemy on the enemy buffs. They want information about the junglers, and where they're going to be starting, trying to make more informed, clear choices so that this Zac knows what he's going to do. And looks like Serenity have sniffed this out here, and there might be a fight here, a brewing.
Yeah, we do feel like these teams are strong as 5, but they're only 3 right now, and 2 of them are going to be caught. Might be forced to flash here. We do notice that Rapid Fire did take the cleanse, but it looks like Oxy going to take the ignite and flash himself out of there. Will preserve the first blood gold for now, and do get that vision, but at a cost.
Yeah, they have to burn the flash on the Rakan, which is going to mitigate the escape potential, really, of Rakan. Little slippery champion that he is, but with the flash unavailable, going to make locking him down a lot easier, especially with the Leona. Really strong counter pick to the Rakan in the bot lane as well, just to point out. Burns the ignite, so a little bit of kill pressure relieved for the first 2 minutes or so of lane, just because the cooldown will be ticking around as we speak right now. Jungle leashes and all of that shenanigans. When that ignite comes up, there'll be about a 2 minute window before the flash is available for Oxy. So look to that window in about 2 minutes time where Hook is going to be able to capitalize on a Rakan.
Yeah, him being able to jump in is going to be really scary in this bot lane. We mentioned just before that Rapid Fire has taken the cleanse, so we'll be able to get himself, but Oxy missing the knockup might be taking a lot of damage here, especially since Hook and Autofill will be hitting their level 2s first in just a minion or two here, as Oxy didn't actually get the XP initially since he had to walk back to lane from the chunk.
Yeah, that's really important that the XP gain or disparity between these supports is going to be quite a large amount. Oxy missing pretty much the entire first wave and not going to be in a good spot to do any level 2 trades anytime soon because of the Leona disparity that I'd mentioned. And I really like the proactivity from Alpha. The power of Zyra Khan that is sort of underestimated from some bot lanes is their level 1 all-in potential. Both champions take W, Rakan W's in, the Deadly Plumage from Xayah as well gives both of the champions attack speed. The lovers duo themselves, they're able to benefit off of one another's skills, and with that level 1 all in, you can really do a lot of damage. And it looked like they would have been able to maybe force a summoner out of autofill, but he managed to dodge away from the grand entrance and he got himself to safety. But like I say, good proactivity from Alpha, but not going to amount to anything, just a good mentality that they've got so far.
Absolutely. Speaking of proactivity, we see the Graves being able to take away the scuttle on the top side, as I believe in bot side, Zach managed to grab one of his own. Now looking for an invade, it should be Graves who's running this jungle, I believe, in the early stages. And I think that most of his gameplay will be about keeping the Zach down for right now, like sort of mitigating his impact, being there for the counter ganks. Graves not nearly as strong as Oxy, might be caught out, does have the dash to get away, and now knocks up the Leona. Looks like Autofill's looking to be killed, but First Blood's going to go over to him, and can he get away from Rapid Fire, who doesn't look like he's going to be able to chase onto him? Hook and Fisted gets the stun again, but shouldn't go down, as now exactly what we were talking about with Hunby trying to find Clorox's Nummy is going to take him down. The passive is ticking away, might not have the damage to clean him up immediately, especially as Polaroids rotates over to clear out for his jungler. Will mean that he lives, and First Blood goes cleanly over to the side of Serenity.
Yeah, really nice play down on the bot side, managing to catch out Oxy. We talked about this lack of flash, and it came to fruition. They get the kill on the Rakan. Rapid Fire unable to follow and wisely backs off. Autofill was sat at about 100 HP. Maybe Rapid Fire could have got baited, but he recognises Autofill still had the flash available, and that Hook and Fisted was going to be dealing a strong amount of damage on this Leona. Base damage Leona is something that no ADC can or wants to mess with so freely. And up on in the river, so to speak, the Zac bloblets getting popped by the Graves, and really good communication from the rest of the team. Hunby knowing that he can't go for that play because Leona was roaming down. Polaroids had the slight priority advantage in the mid lane, and Princeton just backs off. So does Hunby. They both let Zac respawn, revive himself, and ultimately, as you mentioned, is just a 1-for-0 overall on the map.
Yeah, it's going to feel pretty good for the side of Serenity right now, and as Omega, I think that this isn't the worst thing for you. We talked about them having a lot of damage as they scale, and so really looking to take advantage of that in mid-game skirmishes is going to be the name of the game. As long as they're not losing too much in these lanes, I don't think this is the worst position for them to be in.
No, it's definitely not. This comp does scale incredibly well. So if we get to a point where we get to late game team fights, then they're going to have just as good a footing in this game as the other side. So not the end of the world, but obviously don't want to be leaking those advantages as they have been.
Yes, as speaking of, as advantages sort of turn into others, do you think that we'll see this Dragon contested really early on, or do you see this as more of a both teams wanting to sit back and scale game?
I think if a jungler such as Graves can solo a Drake, then he's going to try it. And it looks like he may be able to bait out here.
Looks like he might try and find a fight too. Hook and Fisted. They were in an area where Graves could have gotten quite close, but looks like choosing not to take the fight as Xayah wasn't right there yet, and they don't know where Zac is.
Yeah, the timing on the grand entrance was just unfortunate. Really, got stunned the second that he started channeling that, and really got stopped in his tracks pretty immediately. So the engage wasn't allowed to come through. Hunby deciding not to dash over the wall. Destiny popped because they wanted to check this. Or I think they wanted to check this Drake, but they've got a control ward in the pit.
Yeah, Zac running over and getting that control ward didn't mean that, Rapid Fire is going to have to flash away. Doesn't have to cleanse this time and just has to kite back. Teleport being channeled in the bot side for blue means that Candyman just has to clean up beforehand. Oxy not going down again just yet. Is going to been taken down by Autofill ADC. Now looking for another kill as Hunby's trying to find the Ashe but won't actually find her. And Rapid Fire is going to be stunned up by the TF and taken down. Double kill for the Ashe, and that is a 1-for-2 on the 1-for-3 actually, in favor of Serenity here.
Yeah, they get themselves a nice couple or triad of kills rather down on this bot side using the Zac engage. Unfortunately, Rapid Fire just not respecting the Let's Bounce range, gets caught by it, and then as soon as he flashes away, gets pulled right back in by the stretching strike. Shen ultimate was used onto Oxy, which in this instance didn't really alter the fight too much because he was able to get closer to the front line and was able to use that taunt a lot better. But a TP from Candyman here, go
We're going to be
re-engaging.
Cassiopeia is coming down, and multiple people caught up in the taunt does mean that there are going to be CC'd for a long time. Shen will go down at the end, but Cassiopeia's been free damaging this entire time. Now looking for Hook and Fisted is Oxy, who looking for revenge, perhaps. But now it looks like the Dragon instead will be going all the way over to the side of Omega Gaming Alpha, something that we didn't necessarily expect coming off the previous play.
Yeah, really nice re-engage from them. They utilise that TP advantage. Candyman sacrificing himself for the greater good of the team. Secures 3 kills for Omega Gaming Alpha. Secures the Mountain Drake as well. They're going to be feeling really happy about that. 2 kills now sat on Rapid Fire. Slightly matching, or trying to catch back up to this advantage that Autofill had in the early game, you know, with that double kill down bot side. Another first blood area kills as well. So getting the Zyra a little bit of gold back in her pocket, trying to catch back up with this Ashe is going to feel really nice for Rapid Fire.
Yeah, Ashe now at the 4 kill mark is down a little bit in CS, but I feel like overall is ahead of this lane and should be able to press this advantage if given the if given the space to. We talked about especially over the last few days how strong of a laner Ashe is right now, and I think that certainly even into Zyra Rakan she can look to abuse that with the Leona, with the advantage she already has found herself.
Yeah, definitely Ashe with, you know, tons of CC in her kit herself. Leona providing even more. In fact, you know, they have a lot of agency in this bot lane to just as soon as they can find and engage, to put the pedal to the metal and go for it. Not a fan of this itemization from Oxy actually, as we see Princeton maybe going in mid lane, but the no boots Cassio unable to catch up with the Twisted Fate. But yeah, to talk about Oxy's boot choice here, I'd actually like to see Mercury Treads. Super common on Rakan as is, because you know if you get CC'd while you dive in, then you pretty much die because you aren't a tanky champion particularly. See a little trade on the top side, probably not going to amount to too much in particular. But these mobility boots are going to be great for early on if he manages to find roams, if he manages to go to other lanes. But I feel like he's just going to be sat bot lane, shepherding this Zyra so that she doesn't die to the engage of Leona Ashe. So would have liked to have seen Merc Treads come out here. You know, especially when he jumps in, he's going to be really easy to stun up for the Leona. Just, you know, press the Q, auto attack him once, and that's at stun. Easy to follow up with the solar flare and just mitigate all of the engage that the Rakan provides.
Yeah, and it is going to be something that I feel like you're right that he is going to be staying in this lane quite a bit, just because of the incredible amount of threat that the 2 specific enemy champions provide. If this were another bot lane, I might not be concerned, but with the amount of engage that Ashe Leona have specifically, where they can just fish with their ultimates, and even with the E from Leona to potentially follow up onto your AD carry, it's not something that you want to be leaving her alone to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. And even if it was something a little bit safer with a little bit more mobility than the Zyra, Ezreal, for example, you know, maybe even a Lucian to dash away from the key skill shots that come through. You know, Zyra just has the Feather Storm, yes, to dodge one of them. But if you just fire the Ashe ulti, and then it's really easy for Leona to predict where that ultimate is going to finish, where you're going to land off of it. As we see it do engage bot, nothing
strong though. Yeah, looks like Oxy wanted to fight. We see a small skirmish on the top side as well, but we talked about how that's not probably going to amount to too much, as 2 tanks does tend to mean little action here. Shadow is getting quite low though. We could look for a gank from the Graves. Looks like instead Clorox's Nummy is going to be looking in the bot side. There's the Featherstorm you talked about, followed up immediately by the Ashe. Now the ult channeled from the Shen will not actually go through as she goes down, and another double kill going over to the Ashe. She's incredibly strong.
Yeah, really nice. Just TP play from the side of Serenity. Polaroids comes through with the Destiny, capitalizing on the recall from Princeton in the mid lane, saying, yes, I've got this window to roam. Let me come bot lane. Clorex's Nummy uses his pathing to get his way down bot side. At the same time, they get 2 kills down bot, and it was exactly as we talked about. Rapid Fire didn't flash the initial skill shot, so he had to, and then burned his ultimate, didn't save him in the end. To see fight, maybe top.
Oh yeah, looks like, Shadow Balls almost goes down here. Could be looked for by the Graves, who isn't tanking turret just yet. Is going to start tanking right there, but manages to flash out of turret range. Is going to feel good for them. Even though they lose first turret, they actually get quite a nice advantage for their Shen up at the top lane.
Oh.
Yeah, now we look at Princeton as Clorox's Nummy comes in onto him. Does have the whoa, but uses the cleanse right there to actually almost take down the TF. Is now running away from Clorox's Nummy. Has the movement speed, but a great flash in from Polarize will secure the kill onto the Snake as she goes down to a little bit positioning a little bit too far forward. It looked like.
Yeah, and this Zac is just all over the map right now, finding opportunities in mid lane and in bot lane. This is the issue that you have with Zac and uncoordinated or lack of warding, really. You know, he's just able to gank you from so many paths, and for a second there, it looked like Princeton would be able to turn that back around, catch out.
See it right here. Oh, yeah, looks like Hook and Fisted is going to be rooted up. Is incredibly tanky right now. Just have the Aftershock pop. And Autofill ADC is going to find a really nice stun, but now is in a 2v1. Has 6 kills, though, and is doing quite a lot of damage. Rapid Fire not able to find anything. Doesn't even find Hook and Fisted. Now Hunby going in isn't going to be able to find anybody either, as he's being kited out by both of these champions. Isn't going to be able to find Hook and Fisted. Now finally Candyman Prim coming on, looking to clean up the kill, but actually isn't able to find anything onto Autofill. Maybe looking to back here. Candyman's looking for it.
Gives to Princeton.
Cassiopeia might be able to clean up this kill, as she will. Finding a nice poison over the wall is going to give over 2 assists, but unfortunately Rapid Fire and Oxy, with the disadvantage that they already have, not able to turn things around.
Yeah, that 2 versus 2, where look at just the item discrepancy, it's never going to go your way. Completed and Essence Reaver was built up, you know, double daggers and berserker boots as well. Just the completed item was enough to sway that fight in the favor of Autofill ADC, and the CC that came through from the Leona was massive to shut down Oxy and Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire using his flash to essentially no end. Didn't manage to get any particular value out of it. But the key point here is that Princeton actually got the shutdown onto Autofill ADC, as we see. Maybe Ornn is going to go mid.
Yeah, Princeton is going to be slithering away there. Just barely manages to avoid the timing on the knock up there from the Ornn. But yeah, I think that's a great point. Exactly what I was just thinking about. Even that Princeton is going to be, just like they drafted for, really the area that they're looking for in this composition. And it looks like he's roaming down for the dragon fight, so we might see one.
They should give this Drake. Don't fight this. Oh.
Looks like they want to, as Shen's starting to ult the Rakan, does get the double charm into the back line, and Leona's taking a lot of damage, but it is front line. It is a matter of outlasting in front lines, as Zac is lasting for a really long time. Candyman Prim doesn't go down either, so they just lose the Drake, and nothing else, having lost the Shen ultimate as well, but is going to be a cooldown that will be up relatively shortly, and nobody actually getting too many advantages over that. Should be about equal in Drakes with Mountain and Ocean.
Yeah, so I didn't like the fact that they went for that, but that was because I'd forgotten about Shen Ultimate. I saw Shen was topside, and I was like, well, why would they take that? And then, of course, Shen Ultimate came through, and they were able to take a 5 versus 5. It was a really nice example of how teamfights will be playing out later on. You know, we've got 2 big front lines from Serenity. You've got Rakan and Shen causing disruption in the back line for Alpha. So, you know, big front-to-back teams from each of these sides right now. Maybe TF gets a little bit closer to the back lines with his gold cards, making them a bit more high value, but that is going to be an example of how these team fights play out, and it's going to be on the carries. Whoever's further ahead, whoever's playing the team fights better, to dodge those crucial skill shots, get just out of the range of the key frontliners, and they need to be able to cut through the front line faster so that they can help their front line out in taking out the enemy's back line. Still have to wait and see which team is going to come out ahead of this, and Autofill ADC down here gets solo turret gold for the first brick turret of the game. That's going to be a nice little cash injection to him as well. He's going to look to go back, complete up the completed Zeal item, Runan's Hurricane coming through, and that's a complete. That's a full item disparity now between the AD carries.
And it certainly feels scary as Rapid Fire, but gotta feel good for Autofill ADC, having so much gold funneled into him. It's clear that that Serenity has decided that he's going to be their win condition this game, and it's going to be really the story of whether he or Princeton can find more space for themselves in these fights, even with the gold going towards this Ashe right now. And my question to you is, how do you want to see these teams sort of play out through those respective advantages here to be able to make the most of them?
Yeah, so normally in this situation, but Oxy's found.
Looks like Oxy's looking for the mid laner. Rapid Fire is here to back him up, but Zac, they don't know is here, is going to be flanked by Hunby though, and now there's no way out for either the TF or the Zac here, who is ulting to try and buy his team space. Hook and Fisted does show up, and TF is still alive. Oxy going down here is going to be burned, and Rapid Fire forced to ult right there. Beautiful ult from the Cassiopeia is going to stun too, and Zac will be able to go down in trade. Is going to be given over to Rapid Fire as nice 1-for-1 there in the mid lane, but feels a little bit bad having to start that play and salvage something off the back of it.
Yeah, ultimately they get a 1-for-1, but I agree that with the aggression that they put onto Polaroid, the amount of utility that they tried to burn into him, not getting the kill on the Twisted Fate, and he still has Flash available, by the way. Really feeling confident that he was never actually going to fall. They're going to be happy with that. They do burn the Zac passive and get the kill out of it as well, so they get essentially 2 lives out of Zac. Nice that
Mhm.
they get the passive as well as the kill. So when you're trading 1-for-1, especially with Oxy, currently sat 0-5. Yes, he's got the 6 assists, but in terms of gold value, those assists don't reset his gold in any way. But they're looking for a fight here.
Oh yeah, looks like Oxy going to be caught out. We talked about the squishiness of the Rakan. He's going to follow him on to the graves even, and he's going to be flashed away from and left to die there. Oxy a little bit too far forward into no vision. And Hook and Fisted is going to be able to exert his complete dominance over the map right now. Whoever he engages on has to be so afraid because of the advantage that he's got himself.
Yeah, they really do. And with the Righteous Glory as well, he's going to be zooming down at people, even if he's not in range to get the Q like he was there. He had the luxury of just being able to walk up and press the stun point and click auto attack on him. They're going to be in range to throw solar flares, zenith blades, anything like that. The engage potential from not just this Leona, by the way. They've got Zac, they've got Ornn. The dive from this team is going to be incredible, and I know Princeton has his flash right now, but when he doesn't, he's going to be in some serious danger.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking at cleanse and flash is two super important things that may have to be burned all at once in the majority of these fights, at least while they're still on the back foot. At least while they're still on the back foot. And with Dragon coming up in 40 seconds, we'll have to see if they choose to contest this one as well to try and make the most of that Cassiopeia.
Yeah, so Serenity are caught in a recall right now. They don't have the setup, or they haven't recalled with enough time. They'll be likely around the Drake when it spawns, but they won't have the vision able to properly dictate how they want to engage and how they want to fight. Shen's gone back top lane with the use of Stand United, has also teleport available, so nice to see him up there exerting pressure. Might be able to get that top lane tier 1 whilst they wait. And Cassiopeia currently on a nice 2-item spike, has the Rylai's, has the tier as well. Doesn't have the cut down potential that will be provided from Liandry's, so maybe going to be looking to kite out a little bit better, but she might actually just get caught out here. They can engage on this, but
They're
not, not,
looking.
not like they're not going to pull the trigger yet. But we're just posturing right now. 5 people here, and here's the engage.
Speaking of posturing, Hook and Fisted running straight at everyone is going to find one member, and the Zaya gets knocked up and taken down almost immediately. Rakan in the backline trying to buy space for his team. Princeton trying to take down the Zac isn't going to actually be able to find the Twin Fangs into them. Beautiful 4-man stun is not going to amount to too much, as now Shen trying to tank up a lot. Hun B is going to be trying to deal a lot of damage to the Zac, but he's such a tanky frontline, and Ash is sitting comfortably in the back, being able to put out so much damage. It is a lot of low members on both sides, but ultimately 3 people go down for the side of Serenity, and they retreat back into the river into no vision. Doesn't look like anybody wanting to press forward into them, but maybe not feeling confident enough to go for this Drake themselves.
Yeah, super low health bars on all of the members right now. Neither team feeling confident to go for the Drake, and I feel like you give me 30 seconds, Diatripa, you're going to have to do that all over again. Yes, the cooldowns are going to be down, but this Drake is still available for the teams, and we'll have to see which one of them ends up getting there, because that fight was really clutch, and that showcased how powerful Princeton is on this Cassiopeia, because as you mentioned, Rapid Fire got one shot. He didn't do anything that team fight. He fired Featherstorm and Blade Caller, but threw out very minimal auto attacks. Looks like Alpha, though, with the enhanced, but the faster recalls, are going to be able to take this Cloud Drake. Clorox shouldn't dive in. He's just going to give it up. Nice to, just respect that you're not getting that dragon, or if you are, you're sacrificing your life. And that, in this case, one Cloud Drake, it's not worth it.
Yeah, and the other thing, speaking of the fact that they just were able to take that dragon so quickly, that I think that we kind of missed talking about in draft, is that even with the Shen, who is going to be really, really tanky, Cassiopeia and Zaya, even Graves together, are going to make for really, really fast Baron takes. So I think that they can use kind of the map pressure from this Shen to potentially force a really no-win scenario around Baron, as long as they manage to stay within touching distance of the gold.
Yeah, and that's going to come down to how well Alpha play out this macro. It's going to be a real test for them, because it's something that using a Shen is something that's great as long as you can do it effectively. As long as you can split push effectively, split pushing is a really strong and viable strategy, because as you mentioned, you do create those no lose scenarios where you get an advantage one area of the map, then and then the disadvantaged area is taken advantage of. I just said advantage about 4 times, and that will be really confusing. But the point stands that split pushing strong. If Alpha can capitalize on it, then they will be in a great position to do so.
Absolutely.
That team fight we saw around the dragon, the Shen ultimate came through, but it was no use because despite the fact it going on rapid fire. Oh, but this is a fight here.
Yeah, looks like we find another collapse onto potentially Oxy. Instead of getting a turn onto Hunby there, is going to be perma CC'd, it looks like, and will just be taken down right next to the Baron. Shouldn't be within range for them to take it just yet, but that's a really convincing collapse, and that's really
Yeah,
scary to see coming out.
I think they can take this. The jungle is dead. This is 22 minutes into the game. Ashe has 2 completed items. They've got a nice front line to tank for it. I think they go for this.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be spotted out though. Just now is that word denied vision, and Omega Gaming Alpha looking to perhaps contest this is going to get the poison taking onto the Baron, but not much else is there. Just not able to poke their heads in here. Princeton searching for those Qs, isn't going to be able to find anything, and Shen's going to be left on the bottom side of the map. Now Oxy trying to engage, does have the Shen ultimate ticking on him, and Shen is in the backline trying to zone out autofill here. Is going to end up falling in the end as Oxy, as a beautiful 3-man stun from Princeton is doing so much damage here. Candyman Prim living for so long, but they're just trying to take down the Zac Hassan before he's denied. Rapid fire going down almost instantly. Candyman Prim still trying to live in the backside. Princeton now is left all on his own, is denying the Baron so far though. And Hunby is up, so having zoned out Clorox Numbing, looks like they will actually succeed in denying that Baron.
Yeah, and overall, Alpha, they do lose 3 members. They get 1 back, and they do stop the Baron. So overall, I'm happy with that trade. Nice that they pulled the trigger before it was too late. Oxy was sort of dancing around, waiting, can I go in, can I not go in? And then eventually pulled the trigger. Timed it really well, actually. The Stand United came through on top of the Rakan. As soon as he jumped in, the timing was pretty decent on that to get his way into the backline. Dropped Shen in there as well. And that Shen-Rakan combo is buying so much time for Cassio and for Xayah to lay down feathers, lay down noxious blasts, and cut through this front line. It actually created such great spacing for the backline here, and the Cassio and the Xayah were untouched until Polaroids came in with just a little side angle through from his own jungle, just lobbed a gold card onto the rapid fire, and he was unexpecting. But Princeton is definitely in a wrong area here, but they don't see him.
He could be caught out by Polaroids. Looks like they're not going to go for it there. That was pretty spooky for him. Look like, speaking of spooky, Oxy going to be caught out as well. Does have the second part of the dash, but is going to go down before that. Ashe picking up another kill, sitting at 14 and 1 this game.
Sell your Mobies, please, Oxy. If you have Merc Treads, you live there. He would have been able to grand entrance away, and then get the battle dance out to rapid fire. These Moby Boots at this stage as well of the game, you're not roaming to fights particularly. You want to be fighting around setup objectives, and the Merc Treads is going to provide you so much more gold value, effectiveness, just everything about it is going to be so great for you, especially when you're not particularly near a completed item right now. Looks like you might be working towards the Ardent Sensor, maybe a redemption, but get rid of those Moby Boots, pick up some Merc Treads. It'll make your life so much easier, please. I don't think that it'll come through, but that's just what should be happening now. Ashe has got 14 kills and is a very strong prospect. I've just noticed that she's got another 700 gold bounty on her head, and if Princeton's able to collect that one as well, then he's going to be in a really strong spot. But currently, also Phil ADC definitely having a real wonderful awful performance. I wouldn't wish my AD carries would be this good, but such is life, as we see now. Cloud Drake spawning 1-2 seconds away, and Alpha have no real input on this one at the minute. Look, with Shen top lane and then Engage coming through.
Oh, looks like Oxy. He's just going to get out with the dash onto rapid fire there. And honestly, if I were him, I'd be looking for the redemption like you talked about, just because the amount of times that he's getting caught out in this fight, or in these fights, but still needs to be able to contribute is increasing as the game goes on. We can see the 9 deaths right there. The redemption going to be providing a lot of value to him. Princeton, like you talked about, is going to be the focal point of this game right now, as it is about, while rapid fire catches up, him being able to buy time for his team is almost at that. Leandries has about 750 gold now that he's bought both components there. And I think that they might actually choose to deny this Baron, but I don't see them being able to fight over an objective that they will then take until at least that item is complete.
Yeah, they need Leandris to come through. They'd ideally like Rapid Fire to have his completed Infinity Edge, but that is so far away right now. Just got the BF sword, so he's looking for 2,100 more gold. Like so much gold that he needs to to pick up before he's going to be in a strong position to fight. And we look at the Ashe. She's got a recurve bow in her inventory. This might be Blade of the Ruin King completed for her now. Yeah, oh, okay, well, Bilgewater coming through. But either way, you know, the item discrepancy between the ADs is still so large at the minute that they don't really want to take a fight. And yes, Princeton, super strong carry and can do work, but you need that secondary backup with you to be able to help. And Hunby as well on this Graves is something that we've not really talked about, but he's actually been playing these team fights really well. Oh, but engage mid lane with his Destiny.
Destiny is going to be looking for the Xayah here. Cleanse comes out as well as Shen ultimate, and Polaroids is going to be forced to flash away. Now Candyman Prim looking for the engage is going to end up taking down Twisted Fate at the end there. Hunby picking up the kill, and it looks like they're going to call straight onto Baron after this. What do you think?
I think that this is fine. They just have to turn off at the Baron. They have to know that they can't take this. You know, Zaki's going to engage. Leona is going to engage. They have Ornhorn coming through as well. They need to turn onto autofill when this engage comes through.
Yeah, Zach's going to jump in, doesn't manage to hit 3 members. Featherstorm comes out once again from the Xayah, is going to be cutting out the Zach. He ends up going down. Princeton now looking for the rest of the damage, isn't going to be able to find anything. The flash ultimate from him does not find anyone, but they're just chasing down Hook and Fisted. Oxy able to land that knockup, is going to be in the Hook and Fisted, should go down. Flashes away though, and that's going to cost a lot from Serenity, but their jungler goes down here, and I think now they can take the Baron confidently.
This is perfect how you play Baron fights right now. They're going to have to turn again. Maybe they look to burn it. I'll have to wait and see. 5k on the Baron. TP in from
Polaroid's looking for the stun, is going to find the Cassiopeia there, but no follow-up from them just yet. Shadowballs finds a knock-up onto 2. Rapid Fire should go down here, but no auto-attack able to be found from the Ornn. Is going to be burned down. Shen burns down himself as Hunby is going to be stunned by the Ashe. And it looks like now finally the Baron will be denied from both sides.
Yep. Well, so much to digest. Polaroids is actually still looking for this here. There's so many low HP bars. He can pick one off here.
Yeah, he might be able to find Hunby here. The stun does come through, but he misses the cards.
No. That would have been Baron.
Yeah, it would have.
You take that kill onto Hunby. They're going to go for it anyway because Alpha have to reset. But Candyman has TP when he respawns. They have Ashe with almost completed Blade of the Ruin King. I think this is actually just going to be Baron here. I think they get this.
I think it should be, even with the teleport from Candyman, who's up in 10 seconds, he can teleport to the brush right above the Baron there. Is it about half health? And I don't think that Graves gets here in time for the smite.
No, Polaroids is standing guard.
Oxy looking for the... Oh.
Yeah, mid lane DC'd as that fight was about to erupt, so this is a bit of an awkward intermission. I'm not sure how the teams will be feeling about this. You know, this is going to be a bit of a rough one, especially with pausing during team fights. But right, we'll leave the logistics to the players. And I'm sure you've got the chat up on your end, so you can tell me when things are going through with information for the guys at home. Is there anything we need to know immediately? First off,
I'm not seeing anything in chat. I've just activated it, so I am waiting on my own.
Okay, right. So wow, this is such an awkward pause here. We've got, I think Twisted Fate here is the one caught out, but he's disconnected, so he's actually just walking back to base. Not going to be throwing out any stuns or anything. This and then Rakan Oxy's actually miles away in the team fight. He's probably just going to die here. He's got no support at all at the minute.
Yeah, Oxy does have the Shen ulting onto him, though.
Yeah.
We'll have the back up there in just a minute.
Okay, right. So that makes it a little bit better.
Actually, you go ahead.
No. With the Nimbus, or not Nimbus rather, but with the quickness coming through, I thought he's gained so much space from his team that he's actually going to be in a rough position. But with the Shen ult coming down, that's going to help him out a lot. They need to focus autofill down. 15 kills on this Ashe right now. That's quite a lot.
Both teams have said that they're ready, so we should see the unpause coming in. 5 seconds on it, and we'll be jumping back into this fight as I expect Twisted Fate fully to die here. He's going to try and stun Rapid Fire up, but isn't going to find anything. Meantime, Candyman, Prim, and Oxy actually living for so long, they managed to get the shutdown onto the Graves with the ultimate from downtown, having just picked up the kill onto Polaroids, is going to also get a nice injection of gold from that Ashe, and that feels good for Omega Gaming Alpha, but a little bit awkward coming off the back of that. Ooh, nice interrupt onto Shadow Balls there. Does mean that he should be going down with an immense amount of damage that we talked about before the game. So much damage on this side that if you are Ornn CC'd out of your escape, you're probably going to die.
Yeah, with all of the damage carries coming through right now, then we are. Oh, okay, that's probably going to be. Okay. Well, right. We know that you guys can see the reconnects. We can see it as well. But right now, Alpha is sieging down the base. Let's talk about the game. This is on me. I should stop talking about disconnects. Alpha, they take 3 kills, take the inhibitor as well. So that is in response to Serenity taking the Baron. So right now, with Serenity, they have Baron on, I think, just Zac and Leona. Not the 2 ideal members. You did that. That's not where you want your Baron buffs to be. You want those additional stats to be on your carries. You want the pushing power in your side laners, your solo laners. So, they're slightly inopportune, but they should still be able to make a push out of this if Alpha let them.
Yeah, I think that right now Alpha are on the front foot here, especially after that fight, and now having the position on the dragon as well, can look to sort of take this fight into them. Graves picked up an immense amount of gold, now has 3 items completed, plus the last Whisper is going to be dealing so much more damage to that front line, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that this fight is one that they can take.
Alpha, you mean, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. I think at this point now, Infinity has completed, Liandry's completed on Cassio. Infinity on Rapid Fire. This is a fight they can take. They need to fight front to back, and they probably need to they need to create the spacing. This is really nice setup from Alpha with Oxy and Candyman stepping up forward. Okay. Right, we're gonna send it.
For mid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what we're gonna do, guys at home, is send it to a short little intermission. Once we come out of this pause, we will see this dragon fight. And what we want is to just quickly sync up me and Diatripa because I think we're a little bit desynced through pauses. This happens. So we are going to send it to a short intermission whilst we wait for the guys to come back online, make sure that everything is locked and loaded, ready to go. But please, stay tuned. You don't want to miss how this game ends because we've got 2 teams teetering on a knife's edge right now around what is going to be soul point for one of the teams. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to check that you've not on pause there.
Yeah, I've unpaused it. No,
Go back
I'm not supposed to unpause. I understand. All right, I'll be
there.
I'll be there.
No worries. Okay, so what we're gonna do, guys? Players are back. I hope for good this time. Polaroid's appearing to have a couple of internet issues. It's not the end of the world though. We will proceed. We've tracked back just a couple of seconds to see what is going on, and we're gonna unpause for you guys in just a second.
I'm ready.
We don't want to miss any of the action. With Diatropa giving me the thumbs up, I'll count you down in unpause in 3, 2, 1. Unpause. And now we're back. He left the game immediately, but that's the one that we knew about.
Yeah,
and now he should be back. It should be okay. Hopefully we don't go into another pause, but looks like he's just farming up mid. The team's posturing around the Drake right now. Even gold game essentially. 800 gold at this point in time really doesn't mean too much to either of the teams. They're going to be quite happy to leave it as it is with just 800 gold, and it looks like Alpha have got the start up on this Drake.
Yeah, and after having claimed mid-priority for themselves, it looks like now Serenity is going to be roaming down a little too late to try and contest it, which means that now it's sole point for Alpha.
Yeah, so they sat with 3 Drakes right now, looking for that 4th in about 5 minutes time, and probably just whilst those pauses were going on, maybe some tactics were discussed. Do we need to fight for this Drake? Do we not? They've opted to not take the Drake fight. They didn't need to. This wasn't the soul, and even if it is the soul, if you're in a disadvantaged position, I think giving up a Cloud Soul is probably the one soul that you're allowed to give away if you think that you can come back and win a different fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Cloud Soul not providing as many stats that are combat relevant outside of the cooldown reduction on your ultimate, and so if you do feel like you're able to clutch out a fight, or that you will have superior scaling, is something that you can opt away from. And I think that these teams are still feeling relatively comfortable. You talked about how this is such an even game, and even though I feel like there's a slight edge going over to Omega right now in terms of the priority that they have on the map, I don't think that any team is out of this, even as we scale further.
Yeah, the later that we get into the game, it just becomes more and more crucial for Princeton and Rapid Fire to position correctly because Serenity have so much dive and so much engage that it doesn't matter how fed this Cassio was, if they were able to lock it down and just kill the Cassiopeia before she able to get any spells off, then it wouldn't matter, right? It's
Mm.
one of those things that just if one rogue team fight goes the way of Serenity, then they're able to just probably run down and close out the game. Similarly for Alpha as well, but the the engage rather is there for Serenity in much more abundance than it is for Alpha.
Yeah, it is going to be about kiting these fights back and denying Serenity what they think are advantage team fights for them. Because with the exception of Oxy, who's done a fantastic job so far, looks like I'm gonna have to stop talking as Princeton's gonna be caught out. This is exactly what we were talking about, where as long as Princeton is able to be shut down, they don't have as much to worry about, and the game could be over. Shen gonna be ulting up to him, does mean that he's gonna go down as well, and now they're looking for the follow-up onto Oxy and Rapid Fire, who are making their way through the jungle here
How
and
fast are
away
your
from the rest of
fingers?
the. Oh no! Oh, there goes Rapid Fire as Polaroids is going to almost go down there. Does have the Zanya's popped and is going to be taken down with an auto from Rapid Fire. Now Hook and Fisted looking for Oxy here. Should be able to find him as Clorox's dummy does have the first part of the queue. But now Autofill ADC is going to get flashed on, but doesn't get taken down quite low enough to survive on just about 500 health there. Does get the double kill for himself in the end. Story of double kills, by the way. This guy has not picked up a lot of quadras, but heck of amount of doubles. Bring him to 19 and 2 is still super strong, and Rapid Fire almost strong enough to take him down, but couldn't quite find it in the end.
Yeah, the Vamp Scepter coming through from Autofill right there. Had the heal as well, so he was feeling nice and comfortable. Has Blade of the Ruin King completed as well, which is just a ton more lifesteal. And unfortunately, when that Blade Caller came through, it looked like they could maybe find an angle onto Autofill ADC, but unfortunately the Grand Entrance from Oxy that was available was only focused onto Hook and Fisted, so he didn't manage to find the engage onto the Ashe, which would have been the optimum target. Unfortunately, didn't get that way, and they do fall. Ultimately, though, if we take stock of the kills, nothing was particularly gained for getting those kills. Yes, the Ashe got her completed death stance off the double kill, but Humby is caught here. Oh, the let's bounce actually didn't go through. The trigger was not pulled from Clorox there. So again, overall, off of the back of that fight, just some kills going over to the side of Serenity. They didn't get any objectives. Baron wasn't up. The Dragon wasn't up as it had just been taken. So Alpha get away with get away with the game a little bit there, because if that happened now, that'd be Baron, and that'd be a lot more of an issue for Alpha hit.
Yeah, and certainly the chase onto Rapid Fire and Oxy did buy a lot of time. Princeton now being back up even late in the game, having the time to be burned off his respawn timer there does mean that they can contest Baron. Looks like it might be started up though. At least the vision being cleared out around it does give them the option of starting that Drake if they do find the advantage.
Yeah, if they find an option to go, or if they find an opportunity to go for it, then they're definitely going to be able to. They've got Blade of the Ruin King now finished, as I mentioned. Going to be cutting down this Baron really heavily with the percentage Baron or percentage HP damage that the Blade of the Ruin King provides. Not to mention as well, we talk about the scaling options as we go later into this game. We have got Ornn on the side of Serenity, so they're going to be providing ornaments. We've got Zonya's Paradox coming through, the Molten Edge already, but the Baron has been started.
I'm preparing to get going as Oxy's gonna start his ultimate
Huge.
as well. Does have the Shen right on top of him, are zoning out the Ashe. We've seen this fight before, surviving for an incredible amount of time, aren't taking damage from the Ashe, and she isn't getting to do anything, but Princeton doing so much damage as Rapid Fire has finally gotten the chance to scale as well. Candyman Prim surviving for so long, finally manages to find the kills, does the Ashe, and she is back in this fight, and Princeton has to run, be afraid for his life as Shadowball's looking for him, isn't gonna actually find him just now, and could manage to kite this out if Shadowballs doesn't get to knock him up. Autofill ADC is right there on top of him though, and Princeton not going to be able to survive through this damage. It's going to pop the Zanyas, but will be taken down by the volley and an auto. Nice kill going onto the Ashe, which might mean Graves gets this Dragon, but looks like she's rotating, so we'll see if they're able to contest that.
Yeah, Humby definitely low on HP and is going to see Ashe walk through mid lane. Hawkshot's going to reveal Humby as well. Don't know that he's going to be able to get for it. The TP is coming through from Shadow Balls. He might be able to get this way, but he probably will die and give the Baron. He gets it. He's actually got Nimbus Cloak, so he's just going to walk away out, steal that one away. Wow, okay.
Yeah, Nimbus Cloak plus Cloud Soul now does mean a lot of movement speed for him, and is going to be able to get away with that one there. And despite losing the team fight, do end up picking up the Dragon and denying the possible trade for Baron with so few members up. So doesn't actually feel that bad, even if they do lose this turret.
Yeah, definitely not. And this right now is the Princeton show versus the Autofill ADC show. Ashe was constantly free hitting on the backline. That entire fight was never touched at all. Flashed away from Oxy's engage, and from there on was just in absolutely no danger. But talking of Oxy,
Absolutely. Looks like Oxley's going to be able to get away from this one, but instead, Hunby will be stunned up. Does have the Shen ultimate ticking on him, but doesn't actually finish being channeled. Now, Candyman and Rapid Fire are going to need to back off and give this Baron up. But something that well, actually, go ahead, as it looks like I might have to take over soon.
Oh, there's no Mercury treads. Buy them. Ah, Oxy, Hunby sinning as well without the Mercury treads, but this. They shouldn't go for this. Maybe just a rogue steal. Yeah, the smite secures it. You know, that's expected. You know, nice for Princeton and Rapid Fire to go for it, put themselves in a bit of danger because Clorox and Shadow Ball may have been able to find an engage. You know, don't need the Ornhorn if you just send in a Zac with the follow up, but maybe the follow up wouldn't have been there without Destiny, without the flashes available. So, you know, they can go for that steal, but they don't get it at the end of the day. And with this Baron now, still Death Time is available. Princeton not going to be engaged on that stretching or the engaged though.
Oh, look, yeah, looks like Oxley looking for that engage again is going to be.
They found Ash.
Oh, Princeton can't actually get the damage off though, as the whole backline is being taken up by the Zac. Still hasn't gone down. Hunby just getting back into this fight. Princeton able to do so much damage here, but hasn't been able to find a kill just yet. Finally, Hunby does end up finding the Zac, and now it looks like Leona might be caught out as she dashed into the backline without a lot of backup. Polaroids isn't going to be taken down just yet, and Ash also went down in that fight. So even without her being there, means that they can't contest the DPS of Princeton.
Yeah, Oxy finds a beautiful engage. Quickness, Grand Entrance, finds Ash. The dive in is there from the Shen as well, and they blow her up. Unable to get away in any way at all. But unfortunately, Rapid Fire, his positioning in this team fights has not been up to scratch. He's been caught out numerous times in that team fight as well, was unable to keep himself safe. And imagine the Xayah was in the backline there, but this is Shadow Ball just going to be falling. I don't think there's anything really much more to say about that. Overextended and caught out. Doesn't get the turret. But you know, I need to see Rapid Fire stepping up really in these team fights, because at the minute he's just been caught out a little bit too far forward in the team fights. The one around Baron, he got stunned up against a wall when he was trying to go for ADC or go for Ash whilst Ornn was still alive, while Zac was still alive. You can't be diving that far into the team fight when you're looking at a front to back composition. So Rapid Fire needs to step it up a little bit for me and support Princeton, who's trying to do the world, trying to carry the weight of the team and the weight of the damage rather, because Oxy's finding great engages, Candyman's following up as well, and Hunby is playing this game really nicely as well.
Yeah, Hunby being able to support his backliners when people do jump onto them with so much more damage, especially having the Black Cleaver to help shred through that tank line, has been doing so much work in these fights. The other thing that I've wanted to bring up for a while now is how much work Shen has been able to do when he is paired up with Oxy.
Yeah.
Oh God, Oxy, please don't engage. I'm talking about something. But with the Shen W being able to block so many auto attacks, and the majority of damage from people like Polaroids and Autofail, Hook and Fisted, even Ornn, like the majority of their damage and or CC coming from auto attacks, means that when Shen is with the Rakan, he's able to deny autofill ADC from getting involved in the fights for so long, and that's been so crucial for a lot of them. Whoa.
Yeah, the amount of time that he's been able to buy with the Spirit's Refuge in the front line has actually been really huge. It's been able to give Princeton time to cut through the front line, and Oxy, just stay away. You check there's somebody in there, you know that they're there. Just take it away. He respects it. And buy your Merc Trez. You need to get those. But no, I'm actually kind of perplexed at the minute, because Hook and Fisted went for the Shirelia's Reverie as well. So the Righteous Glory wasn't enough for him. I actually quite like it. I'm not perplexed in any way. I used the entirely wrong word, but this Shirelia's is going to give autofill a lot more agency in these team fights, because as soon as an engage looks to come out, the quickness is pretty much countered by Hook and Fisted with this Shirelia's Reverie. As soon as the quickness gets popped, Leona just pops the Reverie, and then they just sort of, equal movement speed, continue to space away from one another. Important note, I want to bring this up now before we get a team fight going on. Stopwatch on Rapid Fire, stopwatch on Oxy, Zhonya's as well on Princeton. We've got 4 forms of stasis currently, with the Zhonya's being built up from Polaroids as well. But these are really big cooldowns in teamfights that can turn the tides of a fight. If they're used well to counter and engage, then look to the teamfight to be altered. Oxy can dive in, buy a lot of time with the Zhonya's as well. So these big cooldowns as well can come through for Alpha if they are used correctly.
Yeah, it looks like we might be finding a fight here as Omega looking for a pick. Don't know if anybody can see them right now. They don't know. And finally, the Ash Hawkshot is going to spot them. They're positioning around this Elder Drake, but have given up mid priority for now. We don't want to see them over prioritize that and lose their base. But looks like Serenity going to pull off and look for it as well.
Yeah, Candyman's going to be able to harvest out midway, but
Ooh,
Princeton.
flash from Polaroids. Instant cleanse from Princeton. Nice tank by Hunby to save his mid laner there. Might mean that he goes down himself as Polaroids is looking in the back line. Is going to be stunned up by Candyman so that Princeton can continue doing damage, but can't actually find anybody just yet. Just there's the stasis from Polaroids, like you were talking about, buying so much time. Is going to mean that Princeton can't find those twin fangs, and Candyman finds another stun into the Cassiopeia, which means that 5 people clean ace from Omega Gaming Alpha, means that they could get the Elder Drake, but more importantly, they can end the game.
They don't have a wave mid lane, so what they need to do, they have to commit to the end right now. They're going to go bot lane and they're going to take the wave bot and they have to try and end the game because right now they have the potential to get the Elder Drake and get a mid lane inhibitor and then fight once again with the Elder Drake. This call tells me that they want to end the game right now. They're getting away from bot lane. They've got 30 seconds now. I think they can do this. Hook and Fisted is up earlier than most, but that's not important. It's just a Leona, so this is all it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be quite close here.
And even if they don't end the game right here, they have managed to take the inhibitor there. And so if they can back off and not get all picked, they will be able to have the pressure. But it looks like there's actually going to be enough damage from them to take down both of those turrets with the minion wave that they had. It will mean the Rakan goes down, but the Nexus explodes, and then it's them taking a clutch game 1.
Woo! Hold me, Diachpa. There were no Merc treads built. What an absolute great game to start off that series, and that is going to set the tone for all these games, really. What an absolute barnstormer of a game that was. An absolute blast. Back and forth, back and forth. Never really knew which team was going to take it, and in the end, it came down to one team fight. One execution error from either of the sides could have costed them, and it was Candyman Prim for me in the end. You called it out. He managed to save Princeton on the Cassio with the Shenalty and managed to taunt up autofill ADC in the end there. Pivotal cooldowns coming through for him, and he won the team fight for them handedly.
Absolutely. And I think that this is such an important thing to highlight from the games that we saw last week, where with just a week of practice, I do feel like this game really exemplified how much trust the team has in Princeton, and the synergy that they're able to have to kind of rely on him to carry these team fights was the deciding variable in that last team fight.
Yeah, I mean that last team fight was the one team fight Rapid Fire stayed alive. And he stayed alive. He used the Feather Storm to get himself to safety once, and ultimately he stays alive and they win the team fight. Coincidence? I think not.
Not, no.
I think not, Mr. Casterman. But yeah, really well played from everybody in this game. To be honest, I can't really pick flaws in anybody. I'm going to harp on Oxy for not buying the Merc treads, and I'm sure I can have a word with him afterwards and tell him to sell the Mobies. But yeah, anyway, that was a great game 1, and we've only got more to come here.
Yeah, and I think that with that we can kind of close it out and get ready for game 2. I'm sure that we'll have more to talk about these players as we prepare for what kind of play styles they'll be going for next game, and especially what it is that Serenity is going to try and do differently in game 2, as the onus I feel like is kind of on them as the losing team, although I don't feel like they did anything super wrong this game. I think it just ended up being the way that the team fight went.
Yeah, exactly. I echo that sentiment 10 times over. It was just a one team fight in the end that was the issue, and Alpha came out on top. The better team fighting team in this particular instance won the game.
Yeah, let's close this one out with Omega Alpha going up 1-0 in the series. This is a best of 3, so we do have at least one more game here where Omega can look to close it out, but more importantly, Serenity can also look to take us to 3 games that hopefully will be just as on Razor's Edge as this one. We'll see you in just a few minutes with the draft of game number 2.